I'm taking my time on my ride.
Hey guys, what's up? Happy weekend. It is finally Saturday, at least for me in this time zone. So yeah, it's Saturday. Today, if you don't follow me on social media, which I highly recommend you do because guiltily, is that a word? I do post more on Instagram than I do on YouTube just because it's a little quicker. So my name, I usually have it linked down below. My name is Curiosity Kate, and I definitely recommend following me because I do post daily. So anyways, if you haven't followed me on social media, you wouldn't know that me and Xander actually have changed barns for the time being. So that is exciting, solely just for the reason of the barn that we were at previously. We were actually there for 10 years, so it was a little bit of a jump, no pun intended, because the barn we were at did not offer jumping, like seriously, and we really wanted to kind of think seriously about our jumping careers. So thus, we changed barns. So with that said, I thought that now would be a better time than ever to make a video about why people change barns, what to think about before you change barns, and what are the real questions you should ask yourself before you really make the move. So these are my main questions that me and my aunt, solely us, made the decision. The questions that we kind of asked ourselves before we really decided to take the plunge. So the first question that you should always keep in mind is the location. Location. Is it closer to where you live? Is it further away? Is it doable time you can make if you drive there, if your parents drive you there? Is it just an extra 10 minutes? Is it an extra 45 minutes? Like, is it going to be easier for you to get out there or harder for you to get out there? With that said, if it is farther away, do they offer more services? Do they turn your horse out every day? Do they, have grooms that take care of them and can tack them up if you're running late for a lesson or something? Things like that. The other thing is size. The size of the place counts because if you've been to a place that has 70 boarders and is huge, and then you go to a place that only has 12 boarders, it's just different. And then it depends like how much acreage the barn has. If your horse has been on turnout 7 days a week for 8 hours a day, and then they go to a place that doesn't really have a lot of turnout space, like physical acreage space. The next really big thing is how much everything costs. How much extra is board? Is it less expensive or more expensive? And are you ready to kind of take that financial commitment it sounds like a good idea now, but down the road things happen, people lose jobs. Are you going to be able to keep making board payments because you don't want to get hung up somewhere that's $300 out of your price range, and life happens, you guys. That said, with how much is board, are there more perks? Does your horse get turnout? Is feed included? Is lessons included? How much are lessons in general? Some barns have programs where if you pay for board you get like 2 lessons monthly or something like that. So with that said, the next thing you want to keep in mind is that what kind of barn is it? Is it primarily a boarding barn? Is it a lesson barn? Is it a competition barn? Because if your main goal is to be trained in something and it's primarily a boarding barn and they don't really do training or have lessons or whatever, you don't want to get all the way there and be kind of SOL because there's no trainers, or the trainers aren't on property all the time, or whatever that may be. So figure out what kind of barn it is. Like if you do English riding, obviously you wouldn't want to go to a Western pleasure barn that has trails, you get what I'm saying. The thing is about lessons and trainers, will you get along with the trainers? You want to keep a good business professional relationship with your trainers. Are they willing to push you out of your comfort zone respectfully? Meaning like will they make you try new things and do new exercises comfortably? Like you don't want to go 0 to 60, if you've only been riding 2 days a week, are they going to push you to ride 6 days a week, and is it going to be uncomfortable for you, or are they going to have you, for instance, take jumps that are way too high for your skill set? So a good idea before you really make the plunge to change is to take lessons like on school horses, or if they have a lesson program or whatever, with the trainers that you will be working with to feel if you really like them. A lot of trainers, I feel like I've had some really fantastic trainers and I've had some really poor trainers that just tend to yell and don't really say anything of value. So you have to figure out what kind of trainer, I guess, that you're dealing with. If you find a property that you love, you want to learn how the trainers teach and how they react with the horses and how they teach and train with the horses and all that kind of stuff. And then the next thing to kind of keep in mind too is that if it is a competition barn, how many competitions do they go to monthly? Do they show heavily? Are they going to expect you to show? Is that also in your price range? And then if they do show every week and the trainers go with them, is your trainer that you're working with going to be available the weekends, you know, or whatever that you want to ride? Because that too, I feel like would be a little bit of a bummer if you changed barns and got there and then realized that the trainer was only there one weekend out of the month or something because they go to shows so much. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Do they offer clinics or training sessions with other trainers? Sometimes when you're just kind of stuck in a, you know, riding rut, you want a new set of eyes to see your horse. So the best thing is to go to a clinic and see a clinician and, you know, and get better and do different things. So with that said, are there ways to better yourself at this barn? If you're really focused on progressing your riding career, are there ways to do that? The next thing, I guess, is to just know the barn rules. If the rules on the property are anything different, like are you expected to wear your helmet all the time if you're on the horse? I know a lot of jumping barns are very particular about that, is that they want you to wear head protection. Are you not allowed to turn out your horse at certain times, or are you not allowed to ride at certain times? Are the cross ties limited? Stuff like that, where you want to learn the rules of the property before you get there, just so you're not expecting something completely different, and then when you get there, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a baby and I don't like to get in trouble, so I like to know the rules before we really get there. Next thing that's kind of important that you don't really think about until you get there is storage. Are you going to be able to move in tack boxes? Are you going to be able to have your tack boxes near your stall? Are the tack rooms, you know, will you have a rack for your saddle, or be able to keep bridles, or, you know, be able to keep stuff there? You want to have some storage there, and you want it to be clean and dry and safe, you know, from mice or even from other people. Will your stuff be safe? Will people kind of be tempted to take your stuff? Are you expected to lock up your things? You know, things like that that you kind of want to think about, because you don't really think about it until you get there. Even if you take lessons, you know, you might see one tack room, but you want to know if your barn has tack rooms. Anyways, so those were just kind of some things that we thought about before we changed barns. I thought of it as changing schools, the difference between like a public and a private school. There's just a lot of things to kind of take into mind, and you really kind of want to think about this stuff, because I was so ready. It took us about a year to really make a decision about what we wanted to do, because it is important, and this barn that we're at now is a little bit further away, which is kind of a damper on things, but Xander gets turned out 7 days a week, so even if I can't be there 7 days a week, he still gets out, people still look at him, he still gets fed, all that stuff. So that was really kind of a plus for us. Oh yeah, so it's a big decision, and it's like putting a kid in school, and you want to make sure you make the right decisions and ask all the right questions, and just kind of have a general idea of how things are going to work at new places, or, you know, what to expect. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. So that was kind of it for just kind of like tips and questions and stuff about changing barns. If you guys have any questions about anything or want to know anything, please comment down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more. I will keep this as short as I can and just kind of wrap it up. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!